Hey, it's Chronologically Gaming, the only channel that's perpetually retro because we're playing every video game in order of release. This is a test of the video game broadcast system. This is only a test. Welcome everyone to March 1982. We last played Switch for MS-DOS. Let's see what our next game is. It's not a game. It's the latest issue of Atari Connection. This is spring 1982's issue. Let's see what's going on in the world of Atari in spring of 1982. Right off the back, this magazine is going to be mostly educational, so it'll be a very fast read. If we look at the front cover, it's a couple kids playing with their Atari computer. And I believe that's the very first time I've seen a kid in a turtleneck, and hopefully it's the last. As we scroll down past that, we go through the usual table of contents, which we'll breeze by because we're going to be going over everything. This one has the new head of Atari Home Computer Division, Roger Batterster. Now, this is kind of interesting because the letter at the end says, keep reading the Atari Connection. I think we'll have some pleasant surprises for you in 1982. Oh yeah, Atari's got some pleasant surprises, all right. However, the computer world really doesn't get affected by the crash of North America. It's just funny to read a magazine where the new lead of the home computer division's like, we got some pleasant surprises for you. And then over on the right side is the Las Vegas Consumer Electronics Show that happened in the beginning, I think January 6th through the 9th of 1982. And Las Vegas was CES. And Atari was there with computer games that you could play. The newest, coolest computer games. They even have some Dow Jones retrieval service, like some actual software as well, not just video games. And then as we breeze down the rest, the next is a section called Interconnections. This one is going over the how to get online. Well, they didn't call it online, but how to use your computer to get information over the telephone line. That's right. So the next section is how you can use your Atari computer and gather information online. It's crazy. So if you scroll down the next part, they have a quick ad for Home Information Pioneers with the Atari 800. The moment you think you link your Atari home computer to an information network, you'll have at your disposal a revolutionary new electronic communication system. That's right, yes, this has CompuServe in it. You called it, L. Curtis B. So United Kingdom already has 2 fully operational teletext information systems. Teletext accepts computer information encoded into an unused portion of television signal, and then they give a few examples of what's happening now in the world of connecting your computer to other computers. And if we scroll down, you can see in the bottom right corner the telephone that you would use on your system to connect it to the, which they're using at a communications exhibit, at least the picture here. But if you scroll down a little bit further, this is all the information that you could use at service if you plug this into your Atari home computer. We're talking finance. They always have something with the stock market that you could connect to. Electronic communications. They even say, for the very first time I've ever seen this, email. It says electronic mail, your message storage and retrieval system. Not that this is the first time, just the first we've seen it on the show. Email, imagine that. They also have bulletin boards, which are going to be big. We'll be playing some of the games that will be posted on bulletin boards. Electronic news, entertainment like computer games, movie and book and theater reviews. You can get all this and more just by connecting your computer to other computers. And then we also have home and family. And I think it says on the left, no, not on this side. And this is subscribing to the Atari Connection. Don't miss another issue. Oh, here we go. The next section is over on the left side. You can see how to use CompuServe. The CompuServe. How it would connect on the Atari. I couldn't believe it because I didn't use CompuServe until years later. Not in 1982, that's for sure. Getting us started with information service. The communicator kit links your Atari computer to a powerful computer networks and other Atari computers near and far. That's right, you connect to other computers to get all this, and it's just a phone call away. Oh, great info. Yeah, BBS's, you got February 1983. Yeah, so we're not going to be checking out all of them, obviously, because there's just massive amounts, but we will be seeing some to give you a heads up of what it was like. And then this shows you examples of how do you connect. How do you get that Atari 800 connected? On the right side, it shows you plugging into the adapter, and the adapter, you have to get the right cartridge to plug in, and you can use CompuServe. And check the Dow Jones. Amazing. It's just crazy. This is spring 1982. Now, obviously, the technology that we've seen from Byte magazine, the journal that has a lot of information, that is already showing you the technology that's available but not as popular. So even though they had the technology that people could use, doesn't mean everyone's using it. So in 1982, this still was, not everybody had this. The very rich people were doing this. So Capital Children's Museum, this is the communication exhibit. They're just having some examples of what they offer for kids at the museum, because this magazine, this issue of it is more based on getting kids an education. So this is the things they can do in the Communications Museum. That's right, they have a whole set of Atari 400, 800 computers that kids could just play in the museum back in the spring of '82. And then the next section is My First Alphabet, which is a game we didn't play in 1981 because we kind of breeze over early childhood games. But that was by Fernando Herrera, and now they're just raving about the first alphabet for preschoolers. So we missed out on that. If you had your hopes on seeing the first alphabet, I'm sorry, we just don't play the early childhood games. But there you go. There's some examples of what it looks like. It's a first alphabet. Or maybe that was the first game I played, but I don't think it was an Atari from the very first one. Oh, I don't think so. Mega Wars doesn't ring a bell. But I do know we are going to play Mega Wars. All right, so we'll scroll down to new products. The newest thing we got going on is the Atari APX, or Atari Program Exchange, which we've seen a ton already. It's breaking down that people are putting in their programs, and then APX is publishing them so that they get a more widespread use. And it says, watch for special offers on selected Atari computer software. That's like deep deals on it. But then this was pretty cool. Caverns of Mars, they're calling it new, but it actually was available earlier, '81. And then it was also picked up by another company and then another company. So we've already seen it from '81. Excellent game for the Atari computer for sure. There's some screenshots on the right side of Caverns of Mars. And this is the first annual Atari Star Awards. This took place January 16th, 1982. Some of the awards were, the Star Award went to Fernando Herrera, who's right there in the center. His prize for making the My First Alphabet game. If I knew it was this big, maybe we would have played a little bit, but it's literally just the alphabet for early childhood. And then the next award was the merit for 3 several programs submitted since the beginning of the ASAP program. First was Sheldon Lehman, which we actually just saw a game by Sheldon. His is for a program, not for a video game. It's for InstaEdit program. It's assembly. It's a character sets within BASIC and assembly language program, or it generates that for you. And then the last one was Greg Christensen's award of merit was in the recognition of Caverns of Mars. So he got an award for Caverns of Mars. Way to go, because I would say Caverns of Mars, yes. It's kind of rare whenever you have the Atari Program Exchange pick up a game that just someone makes and is really, really good. And that was Caverns of Mars. So there you go. After the awards, the next section is computers for teaching the handicapped. Lots of cool things for getting kids to be able to use computers that are handicapped, which is fascinating in spring 1982. And then this one's interesting. This is called Computers on Wheels. That van over on the right side doesn't mean you're getting kidnapped, kids. It means Atari's coming to teach you some games. They have computers that you can play mobile. So if you wanted to bring it to a school or a field trip or so forth. So again, it's more about kids. And then they follow with more educational tools using the Atari computer. Look how much fun they're having on the Atari computer. And then on this section is just kids' letters from New York about how amazing the Atari computer is. And it is spring 1982 with the consoles about to implode, whatever you want to call it. The kids writing about how great the Atari computer is kind of fortunate because the computer does continue to go and work very well. Home computers thrive even though the consoles fade from existence. And this is one of the reasons why Atari pushing for education, and it makes parents feel a lot better having a computer in the home instead of the consoles. And then this is a section where Atari donates a computer Christmas tree to San Francisco. That's right, a computer Christmas tree. Oh, no, wait, is it? Yeah, a computer Christmas tree with Atari computer. And then the next section is Atari Basic graphics design with some functions you can plug into your system. And I think they're going to do what they usually do on Atari Connection, which is they have kids figure out the bugs in some code, and then they write in so here's some more letters from kids. Way to go, kids. So, hey, quick shout out. Who is Philip Morgan and Sean Heitman, and are they famous programmers now? Because these are young kids that are writing, and one's 12 years old and one's 11, that are programming on their Atari computer. Did they become something? I don't know. Maybe you're watching the show now. And then there you go. The last one is the Find the Bug winner, where they just give you some lines of code and you have to figure out the bugs in the code for all those programming kids. And then they also have some programming puzzles for the kids. Find the Bug, there's the new one, and then the book review. Man, yeah, they're all about getting the kids education on computers, which is nice when we know that right now in England, the government's pushing for education with information technology. So I'm all for it. So there you go. There's the spring issue of 1982. It just means a lot of kids are hopefully playing with the Atari computer, because eventually your VCS is going to be thrown in the trash. All right, let's press forward and see our next game. We're next going to the Apple II, and this is Vaults of Zurich. We have 2 flavors of Vaults of Zurich. This is the first one. Let's take a look at the artwork for Vaults of Zurich. Now, the front of this box, I was told, is the same as the Apple box. In the top left corner, it has a sticker for Commodore 64 that was put on it, but I couldn't find a legit Apple II box. I've been told this will work. There's the cassette tape we'll be popping in to play Vaults of Zurich, an example of a screenshot. Let's go. It's March 13th, 1982, and this is Vaults of Zurich. This one's by Felix and Greg Herlihy. Way to go, Felix and Greg. Adapted by Roger Harnish, which I don't know what the original was. You can see it's cracked by the whip. We're going to speed this up. Fast forwarding. And there we go. So it is different for the Apple version, apparently. Here's all the commands in the game. Lots of commands. So if you were in if you didn't have the manual, because we don't have the manual with us, but if we didn't have the manual, then we'd be going and checking these or writing these down so we could use. Look at the commands, though. Lots of different ones, and kind of a weird pick for like moving around in the game. Okay, so which version do we want? We want the novice version. Okay, enter your name. We'll go to chrono. The vaults are filling. And in this section, we actually are going to speed this up. You have to fill the whole screen with money. So we got to get to the vault fast. This is how long it would take to load. The situation is meant to be every time you play the game, it's going to build and create something different. And that's why this takes so long. Quick, go play your Atari VCS while you can. All right, there we go. So we are in. This is the game. The game is you are in Zurich, in Switzerland, and you're trying to break into some of the vaults. There's a main thing you're trying to pick up, and you're trying to work your way through the vault, and every room you come to gives you different distractions and things to overcome, and you use those commands for it. So I'm following the commands they just gave us. We're going to be checking out another version that has the manual, but for the Apple II, if I want to move, like for example, north, if I want to go north, I push A. In the bottom left, it shows you what even though I said A, it has the word in for moving north. And we move to another section, and there is no animation. It just goes to the next screen. So now let's do it again. Move north, redraws, and now you can see where the dead ends. So let's go to the left, or moving west. Very similar commands we saw in Dungeon Quest and a few other role-playing titles. So moving west through the air ducts. All right, let's go down south. Okay, 2 ends on that side. Keep going south. And we're in our first room. This one has 47 shares of Swiss cheese. And we are timed in the top right corner. So now that you're in this room, now you decide what do you want to do to take the 47 shares of Swiss cheese. I don't know why you'd want 47 shares of Swiss cheese, but we can do B to bribe, the janitor, and the tourist. So let's try bribe. Oh, it's a no-go, so bribe didn't work. So let's do fight. Oh, we are fighting. And we took them out. They're gone. All right, we'll keep going south. And we got the 47 shares of Swiss cheese. Making our way around again. We'll go to the east side. Oh, okay, dead end. And I guess we can't go south there. No, dead end there. So we'll go back up north. Now, once you get the hang of the idea, it's an interesting concept that every time you go to a room, you don't know what to expect, and you have to solve it using all the commands they gave you. But I'd say there's not a lot of intuitiveness by how you move around, and the commands don't make sense. Why didn't you use controls like the ones we used for Ultima, where you move left and right and then enter and slash to move up and down? It's not as intuitive. That's a quick taste of the Vaults of Zurich for the Apple II. Of all the games we've seen up to this point, I'd say subpar, considering the games we've seen up to this point. Once you get into it and you're familiar with the commands, it could be better, but it's still around the average range for all the games we've seen up to this side. And after Vaults of Zurich, Our next game is Vaults of Zurich on the Atari home computer. How does this one fare to the Apple? Let's take a look at the box for Vaults of Zurich. So this is by Artworks. If we flip it over on the back, Artworks didn't do anything on this box. We have other artwork though. Vaults of Zurich comes in another box, the one we've seen by Artworks. If you didn't know who it's by, it's blazing across the front. And we also have an ad for the Vaults of Zurich in the top middle by Felix and Greg Herlihy. You need 24K for this. Oh, it says also for the Commodore PET. Zurich is the banking capital of the world. The rich and powerful deposit their wealth in its famed impregnable vaults. But you, as a master thief, have dared to undertake the boldest heist in the century. You will journey down a maze of corridors and vaults, eluding the most sophisticated security system in the world. Your goal is to reach the chairman's chamber to steal the most treasured possession of all, the OPEC oil deeds. So it looks like it was 22 for cassette, 26 for disc, and we'll be playing on disc. There's the cassette tape example.
Spanish, German, French.
And we got the manual. Yes. How do we play the Vaults of Zurich? I guess you could use this for the Apple version as well. I guess it depends on what the commands are. So loading instructions, we can breeze by those. We know how to load the game. Zurich, Switzerland's largest city, is the banking capital of the world. The rich and powerful come to Zurich to deposit their wealth in its famed impregnable vaults. But you, as the master thief, have dared to undertake the boldest heist of the century. You'll journey down through a maze of corridors and vaults, eluding the most sophisticated security system in the world. Your goal is to reach the chairman's chamber on the 9th level and steal the OPEC oil deeds. Now, the story, or lore, whatever you want to call it, is awesome. It sounds really exciting. The way that they implement the game, though, it could have been done better. Yeah, primitive compared to what else we've seen up to this point. The rules for Vaults of Zurich are actually quite simple. They have been grouped into 7 main sections: orientation and object of game, startup, the screen, the vault rooms, their contents, the corridors and their contents, winning, and then tips. Oh, this is the rules for the manual. That's not very clear. A clear understanding of the rules makes it easy to play the game. So you crawl through the air duct to the bank's basement laboratory. You've been able to gain access to the bank's subterranean vault system. You brought nothing but your wits. Each level is 5 sectors wide and 5 sectors long. Each sector can be a corridor or a vault room. There's 9 levels in all. As you descend a level, the contents of the vault rooms increase in value. The strengths of the vault occupants and all the guards who roam the corridors also increase when you descend. Your goal is to journey down to the 9th level and steal the OPEC oil deeds. So startup, we'll breeze by that for how to load the game. And the screen, in the top left corner, it displays the level you're currently on, or floor. The top right corner displays the time remaining. The center of the screen gives a diagram of the specific sector that you're on. And then the contents of the vault or corridor are also marked. On the bottom of the screen has 3 sections: command, tools, and group. Tools is a record of all the tools you pick up on your journey, so you can get more tools than what you came in. The command prompt is the heart of the game. Command section receives your orders and prints the results. Very similar to the Dungeon Quest series. Or Crush, Crumble, and Chomp. To move about the Vaults of Zurich, plug in a joystick. Yes! We get to use the Atari VCS joystick. Move left and right, go west or east, up or down. Move the trigger to go up and down staircases. For the VIC, Apple, and PET, you have to type in. Oh, so the Atari has the advantage. It's the only one with joystick, it looks like. Wait, VIC versions... Okay, so Commodore VIC-20 uses the joystick too. But I'll still say Atari. I mean, the Atari VCS joystick is pretty good for the time. And then there's our commands. Oh, very different. So the cursor reply, these commands below, we can bribe, drill, dump, explode, fight, unlock, plans, take, wiring, and wealth. And then all these are explained down below. So the vault rooms have a certain amount of blue chip stock, which is listed in the lower right corner of the room. And if a tool is present, it will be displayed in the upper left corner of the room. And if there's a television camera, so they're basically saying when you get to a vault, all these different things will happen. And it's all random. And then you decide how you want to take on that vault to get everything out. And then there's the example of the different characters that can be found. Chairman's encounter only in his chamber on the 9th level. And then you can also do fighting if you use that example. Let's see, what's the... Okay, so if you do fighting, it explains what happens whenever you fight. If you wanted to do bribing, what happens. And then the different kinds of stock that you can find. Swiss cheese, chocolate, army knives, watches, silver, gold, platinum, uranium, and OPEC oil deeds. Was that really the big stock in the spring of 1982? So we got the tools, we have the plan, the drill, keys that you can find, wires, explosives, and then vault doors with also TV cameras. And you can use the tools to turn those off. And alarms also can go off, and how to take them out. And then they break down the corridor and their contents. What can we find there? There's also sneaking by guards, fighting or dumping guards or information. And then how do you win, which they explained what to do earlier. And then they have the tips for us, just like an Atari manual. So there you go. The manual gives a lot of information, and you can see it's pretty complex. Let's pop it and play Vaults of Zurich. It's March 13th, 1982. Now, this one we're going to load on a cassette. I thought we had the disc, but we do not. The only one that I could find. Maybe there's no difference between cassette and disc. There we go. Oh, we even get a nice opening for the Vaults of Zurich. Animation like we're breaking into the vault. Enter the Master Thief's name. Chrono. Oh yeah, there we go. Sliding the vault open, nice. Nice touch. Okay, so we're in. I have the VCS joystick plugged in. Does it work? Can I go up? I can. And can I go right? It redraws, and we're in with 88 shares of Swiss cheese. What do we do? Now, can I do everything from the joystick? It looks like the red button does nothing. Okay, so that means we have to still type commands. So if I want to attack the tourists, I can. Was it AT? I thought it was AT to attack. All right, I'll refer to the manual. I'm pretty sure it was AT. Where is it? Bribe, drill, dump. No, I don't see it there. Oh, FI. That's right. Fighting. We have to fight. There. We'll fight the tourists for the 88 shares of Swiss cheese. They even give us some nicer sound effects than the Apple version. Terrorist is out. Now we're fighting the other terrorist. We are a terrible thief. We have to beat up terrorists for shares of cheese. There was bribe. It was bribe. We won. We got 88 shares of Swiss cheese. Okay, so now can I move down a level by pushing the red button? Looks like no. Okay, but we'll move on. We'll go south. Much easier to move around. Oh, this is more shares of Swiss cheese. Let's fight them. Why is the tourist carrying around 43 shares of Swiss cheese? And we got him. At least we're strong enough to beat up tourists. That's a good thing. Okay, moving down south again. You can see we reached the edge. We'll go to the left. Oh, it's a dead end. We'll go back up north. And then go to the right. That's a dead end, so we'll go north. And north again. Yeah, that's a good assumption. The newest game from Green Bay. The Cheeseheads had made their own game. So I'm wandering around using the Atari VCS joystick. Makes it much easier. I'd like to be able to go down. I think that was the stairs, right? Yeah, let's go down. So I push the red button. Yeah, it works. Now we're on level 2. So we're in the harder area of the vault, moving to the next screen and then go to the left. Very good. Go to the left. It also seems to be running a little better than the Apple II version. Okay, this time we have a teller and a tourist with, 660 shares of Swiss chocolate. Let's fight him. Oh, there's also a drill here. I should have taken the drill, because as you move further down in levels of the vault, you want to pick up as many tools as you can, and it'll help you break into other vaults to steal more things. So it's part stealth. It's also part exploration, and kind of like a roguelike, it's randomly making the levels every time. Yeah, this works much better on the Atari. So making my way around, got lots of shares of chocolate. All right, so this is pretty good. I'd say very strange that we see a port do so much better than the Apple version. I'm willing to say not just average for the time, I'm going to say 3.5 stars for the Vaults of Zurich. The only thing that's slowing it down is all the commands you have to remember, so you'd have to have the manual with you. But I'd still say, because I want to play more to see what it's like, I'll say 3.5 stars for the Vaults of Zurich. Beautiful. All right, let's press forward and see our next game. We're in the arcade. Right when Pac-Man's about to have its anniversary, this is Pac-Man Plus. Let's check out Pac-Man Plus in the arcade, starting with the advertisement flyer. No small change for Pac-Man, another one by Bally Midway. This is an official factory-authorized enhancement kit. The only legal Pac-Man conversion package. Economical, easy to install, on all Bally Midway models. Creates an exciting new challenge for players and more earnings for operators. So if you have that same old Pac-Man and you want to upgrade it, Pac-Man Plus is the way to go. There's the example of the arcade cabinet. They switched out the arcade marquee, but notice Pac-Man on the sides is the same for Pac-Man Plus. Looks exactly the same, with a very bizarre, like, Pac-Man larva, whatever you would want to call him. There's the arcade PCB. For control panel, it'll be the same as Pac-Man. Controls are the same. We'll use a 4-way joystick. There's the arcade marquee that you slip in. All right, no manual. It's pretty much just Pac-Man, I guess. We're going to the arcades. It's March 13th, 1982. This is Pac-Man Plus. The better Pac-Man. Hey, there's Blinky, Pinky, Inky, and Clyde. Don't forget Clyde. At this point, we've already seen Miss Pac-Man. Miss Pac-Man was not an officially licensed by Namco release. Namco originally did Pac-Man, and Bally Midway went rogue and said, we're going to do Miss Pac-Man. Here is another release. This pretty much was the nail in the coffin between relationships between Japan and Namco and Bally Midway. Didn't go over so well. So while they say it's the legal release, it is not. So what we're playing here, Namco did not approve of this. Didn't fare too well. Let's see what it's like putting a coin in. Oh, sounds like Pac-Man. And let's go. Oh yeah, it feels like Pac-Man. It has small nuance changes. It's still doing the same whenever you pick up, move to another screen, it's the same map every single time. But you can see they just updated a few of the items you eat. Like there's Coca-Cola. A licensed food product in the game? I mean, that might have been one of the first we've ever seen. I'm trying to think of another one. Well, it really didn't say Coca-Cola. It's like implied Coca-Cola. You can also see whenever the ghosts turn to blue, they turn into what looks like some kind of apple on top. Oh, yes, Professor Pac-Man. Trying to drag Pac-Man down to the very bottom. Because at this point, would you say Pac-Man's more popular in North America or Japan? Because we got Pac-Man fever over here. It's March 1982. The song's on the charts, Billboard charts. Almost everybody knows who Pac-Man is. But Pac-Man Plus is an upgraded version of the original Pac-Man. You can see I went to the next level, and it's the same maze. So they don't do any changes like Miss Pac-Man. Notice that when I pick up the power pellet, not every enemy eats or turns blue. Kind of the same way that CCE modified the original Pac-Man, and eventually it turned into, not Evil Otto, Crazy Otto, and then after Crazy Otto, it turned into Miss Pac-Man. That's what Pac-Man Plus is doing. It's for the people that have played Pac-Man so much that you're the expert and you want something new. But it still feels good. I still want to play more. I'm going after you, Inky. Oh, Inky changed positions. Okay. We'll go get the Coca-Cola. Now that would make sense because after Namco made Pac-Man, I know it was big, but it didn't get to the same popularity as it did in North America. Yeah, playing an advanced version of Pac-Man while reading the comments. Thanks so much for the comments. Excellent. It's a little difficult whenever it's a game that's requiring you to not blink. But I mean, it sounds like Pac-Man, plays like Pac-Man. They just changed a few color schemes up, made it more difficult. I do want to see what else they got besides Coca-Cola. But I am failing. Yeah, we also have Pac-and-Pal coming. And then for a very special treat, I'm hoping to get Baby Pac-Man, which was a hybrid video game pinball machine. I'm hoping to get that one so we can play that when it comes out in 1982. Because this year was very big for Pac-Man. Oh, let's get the cocktail. Thank you. Clears them away. Love it. Wait a second. Where'd they go? Oh, it turns into a power pellet, I guess. Oh, and that's true. As the game progresses, it gets harder and harder because sometimes the maze will go invisible or the ghost will go invisible. Which is kind of a cheap way to say there's a variation of playing the game. to keep it a little fresh, but, you know, come on. Just making things invisible. We've already seen that on Atari VCS. They change up variations, and you expect it to be something totally different, but it's not. Wow, really? We'll hopefully be able to get it and play. So there you go, there's Pac-Man Plus. Now, this one's an interesting one. It's essentially a kit to upgrade Pac-Man. I'd say because Miss Pac-Man was so influential and how Pac-Man was so influential, this could be the best game you could play for the time in the arcades. But it's the same thing we saw with the original Pac-Man. So I'm going to go around 4 stars. It's still a great game to play. And if you wanted a new challenge for Pac-Man and you could upgrade it, it's a cheap way to upgrade it. But you got to admit, Bally Midway, you got to do it right and give Namco the credit, and they did not. But I'll still say 4 stars of all the games we played up to this point. Anybody have any quips or lines with the 4 stars? Because this one's a tricky one. It's something we played pretty much the same game in 1980, and this is 2 years later. But the hype of Pac-Man's big, so I'd love to know. Oh yeah, we'll find one for Baby Pac-Man. Just wait. All right, so there's Pac-Man Plus. Let's press forward and see our next game. We're next going back to the Apple II, and this is Battlefield. Battlefield's a game we don't have a box for. We just have a few screenshots. You can see Battlefield is going to be a text-only strategy game. It's based on a board game where you take turns, and that's what the board looks like. So it's all ASCII. Everything that's displayed on the screen, you're having to use those quadrants for all where your units are, which are represented by asterisks. This is by Dynacomp, and sadly, this is a game we did not get. But honestly, compared to the screenshots, it's a lower-level strategy game. When you got SSI out there and some other heavy hitters, Battlefield really won't cut it. So until I get a copy to actually check it out, I'll say 1 star, broken. But there you go, that's Battlefield. Can you believe it? Battlefield in 1982. And after Battlefield, let's see what our next game is. We're next going to the Commodore VIC-20. This is Cosmic Jailbreak. Let's take a look at Cosmic Jailbreak, starting with the box. This one was released in both North America and Canada. That's why we have both English and French, or Quebecois. And then if we look at the... There we go. We got a better-looking box. It's aliens, flying saucers from space bugs. Try to free prisoners of the Cosmic Jail. To prevent the escape attempt and build up your own laser bases, or Earth is doomed. Exciting graphics make this a space lover's game for all ages. So if you love space games, this is the one for you, apparently. With an example of a screenshot. We also have the manual. Let's go! The manual for Cosmic Jailbreak. How do you insert in the game? And also, it says again, on the Commodore VIC-20, adjusting the screen and eliminating screen flicker are in the manuals. How many people experienced that on the VIC-20? Did you have to do that? Screen position and screen flicker. So you have to guard prisoners in the Cosmic Jail, scoring points by killing aliens, saucers, and space bugs. Controls use the joystick. Yes, VIC-20 joystick. Yes, and then just keep trying to kill everyone or shoot everything, because that's what we're doing with a space game. So the creatures we got are aliens, saucers, bugs, and prisoners, and then the alien chorus line. It's in round 5 when they show up. Each round ends when the last alien's killed, not including the alien chorus line. Those are on the sides of the game. It gives us a strategy as well. Concentrate on shooting the aliens in the same row as prisoners. When all of these have been eliminated, other aliens can't harm you by freeing the prisoners. At this point, spend your time shooting high-scoring objects like saucers and bugs. Occasionally, one of the aliens will snap out. All of their aliens stop moving, although they will still shoot. The snapped-out alien runs back and forth at high speed, first removing the bricks and finally the freeing prisoner on that row. This is the most vital type of alien to kill promptly. And then we also have it in French. Not going to read the French one. So for other versions, it's just like alternate versions on the cartridge. Let's pop that cartridge in. It is March 15th, 1982. This is Cosmic Jailbreak on your VIC-20. So sources I saw, even though it was developed by Commodore UK, it wasn't released in the UK. It was released in North America and Canada. At least the cartridge we have here. All right, so there's our point values, and we want to use joystick. Let's go. F1 to start. Okay, we're in. We have the chorus line on the left side and the right side, and you can see I can shoot through the base just like Space Invaders, but this is more a Space Gorilla clone rather than a Space Invaders clone, because Space Gorilla did the exact same thing. Aliens come out, they go and grab pieces of the jail to try to get your buddies out, and every time that you can destroy the aliens on either side... Oh, got me. big influence in the arcades on Space Invaders. But they're just taking the pieces away, and you got to destroy as many aliens as you can before they wipe them out. No. Oh, and they even have the spaceship at the top. Just like Space Invaders. Or Space Gorilla. Why did they stop? It is only one shot at a time, just like Space Invaders. So here, let's see. No! Oh, they got him. They had a plan of attack, and they took him out. One of the big things I'd say for the VIC-20 is notice that this isn't tile-based. Look how smooth the ship is moving across the bottom. It is a higher quality VIC-20 title for sure. Love it. Oh, and that's true. Was The End based on Space Gorilla? Now I'm trying to think of the pattern. I think it was Space Gorilla and then The End after that. And Ripoff, yes. Love it. All right, so for Cosmic Jailbreak, you can tell it's a higher quality title than the other ones, and it's on a later video game rather than Space Invaders. I'd still say around average for the games we've seen up to this point. And your mileage varies on how long you would want to play Cosmic Jailbreak. Yeah, I'm still going to say about 3 stars. Very average for 1982. There you go. So after Cosmic Jailbreak, we have the other Cosmic Jailbreak for the Commodore PET. So how does this game fare on the Commodore PET? This one is really done by Commodore. This is the PET pack from front of the box, or it's the case that came in the cassette. You open the whole thing up, and you can see still programmed by Commodore Business Machines UK. There's the example of the cassette tape, and there it is. So looks very similar. So difficult to do on the PET, but we'll get some of that green glow. Here we go. It is March 15th, 1982. This is Cosmic Jailbreak for the Commodore PET. This one was going to require another loading screen too. I don't know for sure how this will run because we're booting this on disk to run the game, and it's going to expect tape to run the game. So I don't know. Oh, after I've already messed it up. Dang it.
It's all in one.
We'll try again. Commodore PET's one of the systems that I accidentally pushed the break key when we were trying to play the game because it's that finicky. Nice and easy now. One, and engage. Come on, Cosmic Jailbreak. There we go. A long time ago, a fierce battle was fought amongst the invading people, space aliens. Many people were lost, but they did not die in vain, for it was in the ingenuity and technology which finally forced the invaders to retreat. During the battle, many aliens were imprisoned on Earth and held for interrogation. The aliens, using their telepathic communications, discover that you have taken prisoners. On-board computer warns that they are preparing an attack codenamed Cosmic Jailbreak. Cosmic Jailbreak, prepare yourself. If we really needed the story. The object of the game is to prevent the aliens from releasing their men from jail. You have 3 lasers initially, but an extra will be awarded every 3,000 points. Clearing all 9 screens awards a meteor storm, giving an extra 5,000 points. Very impressive graphics, though, for the Commodore PET, considering the other things we've seen. So they say press play on tape 1. Okay, we'll press play. Okay. And then we'll try a fast forward, but fingers and toes crossed. Will it run? Will it crash? We haven't seen a crash yet. Anything yet? I'm going to try S to start. S is not working. No! The Commodore PET! And just bear in mind, when I've played this on other Commodore PET systems, it will not run. It won't even get to this point. So we got here, but it's not consistent getting past this point. All right, anything else? No! Okay, well, we broke the game. So sadly, Cosmic Jailbreak on the Commodore PET, we're going to have to say it is broken. If you can get it to run, I've got some tips to help me out, then let me know. We did get to see it on the Commodore VIC-20, but for the PET, it'll get a 1 star. That's what I thought too, but I'm fast forwarding about 800%. So if it really takes that long on the Commodore PET, I don't know if we can wait that long. So after Cosmic Jailbreak, let's see what our next game is. We're going to the Atari home computer, and this is Deadline. We checked out the Apple II version, the first version, last episode, and here we go. This is the Atari version. Lots of cool things inside the box. Let's start with the box itself. Slightly different than the Apple one. You have 12 hours to solve the murder. First of Interlogic's mystery series by Infocom. Flip it over in the back. 12 hours to solve the mystery. One false move, and the killer strikes again. It shows you the average length of the investigation. 20 hours is the average time to beat the game. Vocabulary has 600 plus words, and you also get all this included in the box. Let's take a look at some of the artwork. This is the dossier that you would have received, and you get to open that up as if you can see it has the cause of death, file open, and the date for it with some ads. This is the Deadline ad. It's been part of the latest craze in home computing, like Time Magazine says. The best adventure of 1983 is what Electronic Games says. And then this advertisement flyer is interesting for Infocom. It's breaking down all of the games based on difficulty at the top, which they have Wishbringer and then Sea Stalker. And then as they go to standard difficulty, it has all the other games. And they also break them down with mystery, fantasy, science fiction, and then adventure, which is kind of cool. So I really like this advertisement flyer showing Infocom's titles and where they stack. And notice that Deadline is in the expert level. Another ad for Deadline along with Suspect and The Witness. And this will also come in the box. This is the corpus delicti of information of the body that was found. No injuries or marks of suspicious nature except a small bruise on the left temple, consistent with falling to the floor from a chair. We also have the picture of the crime scene outlined in chalk. Very authentic, but you had this in the box to make you feel like a detective. We also have the excerpts from the interview with Mrs. Robner here, with even fingerprints. So cool, so authentic. And then there's the 5 1/4 floppy disk. On Atari, we're going to be using two sides. You can see the two examples, or the two sides of the disc. It will be all text, but we also have the manual, Inspector's Casebook, investigating the techniques for cases of suspected homicide. So even you, kids at home, can be a homicide detective. This one was also time-based, so you have to solve the murder in a certain amount of time. This shows the age of some of these games that we're playing, but I do love genuine scans. I don't like reconstructed. If they have mold or they're messed up, I want to have pictures of those. So cool. All right, so this breaks down the story, what's happening in the game, how to make the arrests, or what you do to make the arrest happen, and then strategies for first-time gamers. Oh yeah, and how to use the computer. So this breaks down the text parser, what it will understand or not understand, how to move around the world, dealing with suspects and other people, avoiding tedious interrogations, and then how you actually end the game after you acquit someone. What a great manual. It breaks down the game so well. It gives you some fun lore. It also explains how the game works as an adventure game. And then this is all of the words or terms it will understand. So helpful for interactive fiction. A true gem by Infocom. And then for other versions, check it out. We have what was in the box. We have the Interlogic manual, which has introducing you to Interlogic. Our worlds, and welcome to them. It breaks down Zork 1, 2, and 3, Deadline, Starcross. So this was all in the box for Deadline. Along with the lab report. All of the cool feelies you could have. You also have the letter from Mr. Coates. You even have an official memo. All this you use to help you in the game. In a way, it's kind of a throwback to like the original Commodore PET. Or, I'm sorry, not the Commodore PET. The original Magnavox Odyssey, where in the box of the game, you didn't just get a game that you put in. You had other things physical that you used to play. There's the tablets. They actually put drugs inside the box, but you would get that in the box too, of what he took. And then we also have the reference card. Very helpful with interactive fiction games. Breaks down all the commands you can do, quick instructions how to load the game since it's a two-sided game. How do you talk to the game, scripting, the status line, how your score works, saving the game, and then I think it has even more commands, right? Oh, it has troubleshooting, restoring a save position. Very, very helpful. And then it also came with the Zork users group inside of Deadline, which I thought was nice. Because if you like this kind of stuff, you would love Zork. All right, it's March 15th, 1982. This is Deadline for your Atari home computer by Infocom. If your game comes with black mold, please consult a physician. And right off the bat, we got to flip the disc over. So we go in, take the disc out, put the disc back in. And we're in. Deadline, an interlogic mystery. You're on the wide lawn just north of the entrance to the Robner estate. Directly north at the end of the pebbled path is the Robner house. Flanked to the northeast and northwest by a vast expanse of well-kept lawn. Beyond the house can be seen the lakefront. Okay, so let's go north. This time I'm going to go to the crime scene and do a few things there. Now we're on the front path. Let's open the door. Oh, open door. Do I have to type like it's 1982 as well? The front door is now open. Go north into the house. And Mrs. Robner's there. And she says, I'm just so busy. My husband's dead. I don't care. Blah, blah, blah. Whatever. We know you did it, Mrs. Robner. And then let's go north again. North of the foyer. Then go east. Bottom of the stairs. Let's climb the stairs. We're on the landing of the stairs. And from there we go west. Oh, go up. Sorry. Go to the top of the stairs and then go up again. We're at the stairway. The hall runs north-south corridor. Length of the house leads west. Okay, so now we go west. Down the hallway. Keep going west. Approximately the middle of the corridor. And it's so descriptive. So whenever you would make maps at the time, you would be writing and drawing in where it is. And it helps visualize, like if you were there. Let's go west again. We're now still in the hallway. Keep going west. Okay, to the north is the library where Mr. Robner was found. Let's go to the library. This is the library where Mr. Robner's body was found. It is decorated in a simple but comfortable style. Mr. Robner obviously spent a great deal of time here. A wide executive desk sits before the tall balcony windows which lie at the north of the room. A telephone is sitting on the desk. Each side of the room is composed of 3 large bookshelf units containing numerous volumes of many topics. The floor is carpeted from wall to wall. The massive oak door which blocked the entrance has been forcibly knocked off its hinges and is lying by the doorway. A pencil is lying on the floor near the desk. Beside the desk is a large collapsible tray. Oh, there's more. Sitting on the tray is a bowl containing a white powdery substance. Cocaine! Alongside the desk is a wicker waste paper basket. The waste paper basket contains a very weird thing. Oh, it's backwards, right? Bunch of crumpled papers. AEX, or maybe it's anagrammed. I can't do it off the top of my head right now. So a bunch of crumpled papers light on the floor. Overturned is a beautiful saucer. Turned onto its side, lying on the floor is a beautiful teacup. Lying atop the desk is a pad of white notepaper. A desk calendar is here, open to July 7th. There's a bottle of ebullient here. Did everybody get that? That is so descriptive. Incredible. Yeah, this is one of the best text adventure games we've ever seen, and it's one of the best games you could play at this time. And if you wanted to be a detective, I mean, this is it. Look how descriptive this is. You could spend so long, and it said average was 20 hours to beat this game. No way you could beat it in 20 hours. Maybe if you were really good and you know what to do. We're even following the walkthrough. And you imagine how long this would take? You could really get absorbed in this. Okay, so now that we're here, we have to establish a motive and method of the murder beyond all reasonable doubt before we can arrest the guilty party. We know it's Mrs. Robner, though. All right, so first off, let's examine the rug. So now that we're in the crime scene, we have to find all the evidence. to acquit whoever we want to acquit. The carpet is an expensive affair and quite clean except for a few small areas of dried mud in the vicinity of the desk. There are no other stains or markings that you can see. Okay, so after we do that, you'll find some mud spots, and now that's our first clue, is the mud spots. Okay, so now let's get cup. Get it? Okay, we get that. We get the pad. We're just basically picking up evidence. Get calendar. And get pencil. Got them all. And now let's rub pencil on pad. Shading the paper with a pencil reveals impressions left by writing on the previous sheet. The writer must bore down heavily, but only a few words come out clearly. Oh, look at that. So the plot thickens. Now you take this and you determine which words are correct, and you're obviously going to be finding out more from something later. Okay, so next let's turn page of calendar. It's open to July 8th. There's only one notation here in the 9 a.m. spot. Call Coates. Will completed. Okay, so the will is done. Aha! So perhaps the clue of the motive. So now we see if we can substantiate the method a little bit more. The mud on the rug was a little interesting, so let's open the balcony up. Oh, open balcony door. Sorry. The balcony door is now open. And now go north out onto the balcony. The balcony is bare of furniture, although it has a beautiful view of the rose garden, the north lawn, and lake. A metal railing around the balcony prevents the accidental drop to the thorny roses below. The window between the balcony and the library is open. Away to the north, Mr. McNabb can be seen mowing the grass. Maybe it was Mr. McNabb. We don't know. All right, so now we can examine railing. The railing is made of a sturdy metal that helps prevent nasty falls. There is a small area of paint scraped off the outside edge. And we look below, and there indeed is something below the balcony. Now, that's as far as we're going to go, but you can see how deep this game is and how well it plays. Deadline is fantastic. Another title that we could spend much longer, way longer than all the other text adventure games. I'd say of all the titles we've seen to this point, just like the Apple II, we're giving it one of the best games you could play, 4.5 stars for Deadline. It really depends on if it's your genre or not. And so that's one reason why it's not the 5-star, but wow, it's way up there. Deadline is fantastic. All right, now with that, it is time, ladies and gentlemen, to move on to the evening. If you don't have Pac-Man fever yet, you will now. It is the release of Pac-Man for the Atari VCS. Yes, the Pac-Man.
First the Pac-Man eats through a maze of dots. Then the Pac-Man heads for the corner spots. Then he eats his fill of a power pill. And then all those ghosts turn blue, and Pac-Man eats them all too.
Only Atari makes the Pac-Man home video game, and you can only play it on an Atari video game system.
Have you played Atari today?
That's not all. The hype is real. Let's go to Italy. The hype is so real. While this didn't get released all over the world at the same time, I want to dance with Pac-Man.
Come Cocos, uno más de los 58 videojuegos de Atari.
Is that what Pac-Man sounds like?
Videojuegos por computadora.
If her dad is so strong and her mom is so smart, if the girl knows that at the very start, then why even begin? Wanna play, Dad? 'Cause kids always win.
Oh no. Oh my gosh. She had like 6 Cokes before this commercial.
Playing Atari games is one of the few things that children almost always do better than grown-ups. Isn't that nice?
Aww. Pac-Man brings daddies and daughters together.
Now from Atari, a great new video game, Pac-Man. Pac-Man. To stay alive, Pac-Man must eat power pills, vitamins, and ghosts.
I'm putting your sock on now.
And now we're in the
Beware,
UK.
the ghosts bite back.
You've got 2 minutes.
Pac-Man's appetite is insatiable. To keep ahead of
Why
the
do they
game
always make
depends
mom
on your
look bad?
skill at feeding him.
Supper is served.
Pac-Man, the all-consuming video game, only from Atari.
Pac-Man eats their dinner? That's
Grandpa,
terrible.
you want to play Pac-Man?
Pac-Man? Who's he?
I'll show you, Grandpa.
Man, you don't know who Pac-Man is,
a video
Grandpa?
game cartridge you have to buy separately to play on the Atari video computer system. Your parents hook it up to the TV.
Those are supposed to be the ghosts after Pac-Man. Watch out, Grandpa. Stick with me. You'll get the hang of it.
This is the Atari video computer system. Pac-Man and other video game cartridges are each sold separately.
Quick, stop him. He's flooding the market.
As soon as I eat that power block, you guys are finished!
Drop Atari Pac-Man into your Atari
That's
video
the voice of
computer
Pac-Man.
system, and you're playing the hottest games in Space Invaders, Atari Pac-Man.
There we go. Now we're in Australia with Pac-Man fever.
Hate to eat and run.
Pac-Man by Atari.
First the Pac-Man eats through a maze of dots. Then the Pac-Man heads for the corner spots. Then he eats his fill.
All right, so there you go. That is all the hype and a few sprinkling of the commercials that are going on with Pac-Man, which is insane up to this point. So here we go, Pac-Man, the moment you've all been waiting for. Does it live up to the hype? Here's the box for Pac-Man on your Atari VCS. Looks like it has eight different versions, and it looks like Pac-Man on the front of the box, right? Yeah, it's got to be. The home version of your favorite arcade game. 1 or 2 players. It's your job to keep Pac-Man as happy as possible. You must guide him around the maze so he can eat video wafers and power pills. Protect him from ghosts unless he has the super strength of a power pill. Got it. I don't remember wafers in the arcade, though. And let's check out the other artwork. We also have reconstructed boxes. So you go from the physical scan to a reconstructed box. And then we also have tons of advertising. Pac-Man is here on the Atari video computer system. Dashes around the maze, gobbling dots and power pills and ghosts for points. And then there's the example of the cartridge that you'd pop in. And we have also a very bizarre ad. This is Pac-Man for $0. We're talking what happens. This is copyright 1987. So the future, ooh, scary. Pac-Man is free, at least it shows on this ad. Don't know if it was modified or not, but kind of a scary thought that now the hype is so good and everyone's buying Pac-Man. But here you go, Pac-Man for nothing. Yes, Pac-Man's most likely a junkie. Oh, there you go. So this is another one. It's 5. This is an ad for 5 more days until the Atari National Pac-Man Day, because they were hyping this so much. They made a National Pac-Man Day on April 3rd, 1982, which is one of the reasons we also have Pac-Man Plus. Atari was going crazy. And then this is another ad. Atari introduces Pac-Man. You can see it says March or April as Game of the Month. And then this ad is for the whole system, the whole pack. And then it says on the left side, is this good for kids? Playing Atari games can be very good for kids, providing they've done their homework and cleaned their bedrooms. What if something breaks? Well, Atari manufacturer has quality products. Are they passing fancy like hula hoops? They're exactly the opposite. Atari video game computer systems is not a toy to be put in the closet and forgotten. It's a permanent part of a home entertainment center for now. Will they damage my TV set? No. You can't damage a TV with Atari. Of course not. Have you played Atari today? And another ad for Pac-Man, who looks a little bit more like Miss Pac-Man with the lips. Don't know what they're going for, but have you played Atari today? And then another one mixed up with Super Breakout and Haunted House, which is great titles. Pac-Man, be the first to play them all. And here it is, the ad of World of Mouth Travels Fast. Today is National Pac-Man Day. It's here. And we also have the Sears Telegames cartridge as an example as well. Lots of stuff for Pac-Man. Let's look at the manual for Pac-Man. The Atari VCS version of Pac-Man. I just imagine him talking to me now that he's eating everything up. It has a special feature that has additional versions for young children, like all the ones we saw in the ads. Here's Pac-Man. We know that millions of people all over the world just love the Pac-Man arcade game, except that grandpa who'd never heard of Pac-Man. He's won the hearts of men, women, and children everywhere. We also know that Pac-Man has traditionally been an arcade game. Well, we at Atari know all about arcade games. After all, we make some of the greatest arcade games in the world. For now. After all, we know how to bring the same dynamite gameplay into your home. Our Pac-Man has all the excitement and challenge of the standard arcade game you get to play in the comfort and convenience of your own home. This is especially advantageous if you still plan to make an occasional appearance at the arcade to show off your great playing skills. Oh yeah, I don't think this is going to help you play Pac-Man in the actual arcade. Yes, I love that story, Chiptune. Keep it going, man. Life in Maze Land. The object of the game is to keep Pac-Man happy and healthy. Because he's an addict, and he must keep getting wafers if they really are wafers. You score a point for every video wafer that Pac-Man eats. You also score points when Pac-Man eats power pills. So he's eating wafers and pills. I don't think this is good for kids. He earns an extra life and a new maze full of video wafers. So there you are. The examples of the video wafers. What? These are the dotted lines on the screen. You maneuver Pac-Man around the playfield over the video wafers. He automatically eats video wafers and they disappear from the maze. You score 1 point for each video wafer they eat. Oh gosh. And then if you get the power pill, then the ghost becomes scared and they run away. You also have vitamins, two intersecting rectangles in the center of the playfield. They only appear for a few moments and then disappear. Vitamins are worth 100 points each time Pac-Man eats them. Yes, vitamins. And there's the Ghost Quartet. Do they have the names? They don't have the nicknames. The ghosts of the quartet are bad guys chasing Pac-Man around the maze. If a ghost eats Pac-Man, you lose a life. On the other hand, if Pac-Man eats a ghost and score points, Pac-Man can eat ghosts after eating power pills. So it's Pac-Man. Hopefully you know what Pac-Man is. We get to use this with the Atari controller down in the bottom left corner. And over here on the right side, the joystick control to move Pac-Man around the maze. It's very simple, you know, like the four-way joystick you had in the arcade. For console controls, we have the select switch for game variations between 1 and 2 players. But ladies and gentlemen, 2 players is not at the same time. I think 2 players is still alternating. Yes, it is not 2 players simultaneous. And we played plenty of Pac-Man variants where you can play at the same time. So here's all the variations we got. We can do slow-moving Pac-Man, ghost move it at jogging speed, running speed. It's basically how fast you want the ghost to go. And then game mode 7 is for young children, where the ghosts crawl really slow. And then they move at walking speed, and then crawl around the maze, walking, jogging. 3 and 7 are recommended for young children. So they're just making the speed of the ghosts faster or slower. Not the best game variations. They even said in one of the ads that this was going to be like a killer app, like Space Invaders, but no, it is not Space Invaders. It was a killer game, all right, but for a different reason. So there's the point values for everything and the matrix that they show you how to play. Does it show 2-player? It doesn't give the example of the 2-player games. 1, 2, 7. 2-player game, the left player starts the game, and then each player takes a turn until Pac-Man's eaten. Yeah, but it's still alternating play. We played already versions we can play at the same time. And we have lots of other versions, too. We have the European version. We have some hacks, cat and mouse. The CCE version in North America and in PAL regions. We have Egghead, which is a Pac-Man hack. Pac-Law was another Pac-Man hack. And then Pac-Space, because of the popularity, obviously. All right, it is March 16th, 1982. This is Pac-Man on your Atari VCS. Oh, yeah. Let's play some Pac-Man. As always, Atari VCS games boot up in this semi-arcade attract mode where nothing happens, and you're like, well, the ghosts are all flickering because they're ghosts, right? Isn't that... They were just trying to make them look more like ghosts? Is that why they're flickering? Mommy? Is that why? Oh, yeah, the later versions. There's so many later hacks of Pac-Man that, you know, I do have. I'm just saying that someone took this original code and hacked this. So it's just this game slightly different as what variations I showed. But you got to see what they can do on the VCS now. It looks just like the arcade. It's so good for Pac-Man. It kind of definitely puts this one to shame. You can see the copyright's 1981 because I think by 1980 or the end of 1980s, whenever Atari got the license for home consoles to make the game. And here we are playing it. All right, so variations. We can see the game modes. This is games for 1 player or 2. And as we scroll through the game modes, we can be alternating play. I'm not going to alternate because it's pretty much the same thing. Let's start on the kids version, game mode 7 for young kids. And then hit reset, and we're in. Yes, the game begins with a siren to let you know danger is coming. And really well. The kids don't even... The kids can run away from the ghost really easily. Isn't that great? Won't someone please think of the children? The eyeballs remind me of the same eyeballs from Haunted House. And you just get all those wafers, feed Pac-Man's addiction. Pac-Man doesn't look like he does in the arcades, and he also doesn't respond the same as he does in the arcades, and the maze doesn't look the same either. It also has the same maze variation. So as we went through game modes, it didn't switch up the maze. It's the same maze every single time. And we're back. Yeah, there's also not the charm of the arcade, the way that you move around and you hear the sound and music. All we hear is a siren, and then this sound, which is like someone banging on a metallic a transistor or something. Okay, so let's switch up the game modes. Let's go to something... What was the fastest mode? I want to see these ghosts go blazing speed. What's the super fast mode? Jogging, fast move. Okay, we want ghost moving, jogging. Let's do game mode 5. Wait, running. No, 6. Crawl, walking. No, challenge. Challenge level A. Let's do game mode 6 then. Let's try that. 5, 6. How challenging is it? Let's see. Oh yeah, there we go. Now the ghosts are really moving. That's it, yes. Okay, so here we go. There's the hype. It's Pac-Man. If you got this on the VCS, what would you rate this? Using the scale we use on Chronologically Gaming, if it's now in March 1982, you bought this possibly as a birthday present, and you're playing it, what would you rate it? Is it a broken game? Is it a bad game? Is it an average game? Is it a good game or above average game? Or is it one of the best games you could play in 1982? We played so many Pac-Man variants that I can't give this one much praise because there's so much that's been done on home computers and even consoles, variants on different consoles. Oh, one more. Got it. Alrighty, getting some in. Thanks, Chiptune. Alright, there you go. That's Pac-Man. Yes. Of all the games we've seen up to this point, I'm going to honestly say it's bad. Not just because of how well it plays compared to other versions, and because of the letdown. It's honestly the sound. It starts with a siren. It's warning you. This is going to mess up the video game industry in North America. Yes, that's true too. And the other thing is the influence it has across how many these games were made based on how many were sold. And it's flooding the market. And so this is one of the reasons we had this implosion of video games in North America. So I'm going 2 stars. It is a bad game. It is the best of the bad, but it's still a bad game. All right, and with that, it's time to put our video game playing on pause. What an evening for video games. That's all for today, and like I always say, if you have Pac-Man fever, please consult your doctor or physician. Hey everybody, thanks for checking out the channel and joining me on my quest to play every single video game in order of release. We'll be streaming live every weekday at 9 p.m. Central, so join us and let us know if we missed any games along the way. This video would not be possible without Launchbox, RetroArch, and MAME. Tell all your friends there's some crazy guy named Chronologically Gaming trying to play every single video game. We have links down below that'll send you to places like our Discord and Patreon, and one that says all the video games we've ever played. If you go there, it's a list of everything, and you can click right to the game you want to see. Chronologically Gaming is the name to look for. We are perpetually retro, and we will catch you next time.